Okay, so today's a little bit of a different stream, and it almost harkens back to my old school style a little bit, like, ASMR. Like, this is my old Blue Yeti mic and my old computer and everything. And so I guess I'm using that because normally I stream from like a third party location, like somewhere else. Just, it's sort of whatever. I'm in transit, I'm doing stuff. But here I have the luxury, I guess, today of like streaming actually from my house, which is rare. And so now it's more like just kind of relaxed, laid back. It's almost like the way I used to do it, where like I could do these super long 6, 8, 10 hour streams where it didn't feel like that big of a deal because you would do a little bit, then you take a break, you go AFK a lot, whatever. But it's just comfortable. You're kind of just doing it. My girlfriend comes home, she trolls me a little bit in the background. She's making fun of me while I'm dying. Like it was just kind of a more, sort of laid back sort of experience, and so you feel kind of like I don't know if it's even working. Come to think of it, but because I'm watching on my phone and it's not. But yeah, it's sort of a weird vibe. Like, or it was. I don't know. It's hard to explain. You'd be in a position where you're like, you're just sitting on the couch, you're just doing it, and it's just like a thing to do. Not like what we see today with the cynical view of like, oh, you're doing it as a career, you're doing it to make money. Not saying you can't do that, but it's just different. I don't know. The vibe changes a little bit my way, even if doing it like I have so little time nowadays, so it's definitely different. And I can't really emulate my voice as much because I went from, it was quiet first of all, and that's kind of what this mic encourages. I guess that's the main difference. The fact that it's on my other computer, you wouldn't even probably be able to tell. But because, it's good enough to handle chess at least. And chess is a perfect game for this kind of thing. Like, I could just stay up all night and just play chess and try to get to 2,000 rating or some crazy thing. But basically, not only would my voice be quiet, like kind of a laid back, monotone, whatever, decisive, to the point sort of thing, but I would also talk a lot less somehow, and it would almost carry more weight, right? Like there's a good absolutist little quote to do with this. Like, let's say, uh, you know, you would let your actions speak for themselves, therefore, you didn't need words. So you would just speak only when absolutely necessary or only in the most decisive way that held the most substance. Whereas now you would speak more almost to compensate. Like you have to talk to make up for your actual ability or, merit or worth that you're actually doing. So words are for the weak who have to overcompensate for their lack of ability or actions or accomplishment. But that's kind of a good way to look at it, right? You wouldn't need to let the chess speak for itself, let whatever speak for itself. That quote is very intrinsic to that. It's even like where people make fun of Hans, like, oh, when he played badly, oh, well, I guess the chess speaks for itself. But that's exactly the point. It's like you could interpret it that way. Like, one day you'll be great, one day you'll be bad, but it doesn't matter about the individual, right? The whole cult of personality in chess is disturbing because you see certain people, and I've said it a million times, but you're getting celebrated despite such a low rating, like, oh, 2,000 or sub 2,000. That I find very disturbing because that's just not what it's about. Like, I would gladly defer to somebody like, okay, you're one of the best players in the world, something like that. But why would you defer to somebody? Oh, you're only 2,000 FIDE, which is good. I'm not knocking it, but like you would say, oh, why aren't you 2,000 FIDE? But that's the point. Is like, if I was, is it that big of a deal? Like, to me, that's still entry level. I don't really have patience for. It feels like the sort of thing anybody could do if they just, put in the time. Whereas, like, okay, getting to Grandmaster, okay, maybe you couldn't do that. No matter how much time you put in or whatever, within reason, that's not so simple. So I find that kind of annoying that you're sort of, I always say king of the sandcastle effect, or it's like you're lowering the bar. So it's like you're saying, oh, you're better than the average person. Well, okay, by that logic, you're better. I could be better than the average person at a lot of things. I'm certainly better at writing or psychology, things to do with psychology, or I'm better at driving a car than most people. Like, what does that have to do with anything, though? You're not a fucking race car driver. You're not, like, it's not hard to be better than the average person at something because it just means you put in a certain amount of time that the average person doesn't do. Like, for example, with chess. Sure, it might be very popular and a lot of people play it, right, all around the world. But when you say they play it like kind of a dumb shithead like me, like where you're basically, you're just playing it. You're not really studying it or taking it super seriously. So yeah, we'll just do a bunch of 10-minute ones. I do like this game, but it still has some issues with it, or at least I assume it does. And this is supposed to be my anthology series where I play like different chess games every time, but I guess the last couple I haven't had really the mood to do it. It always gives them like a early game start too. Like the first move is already made by the time it loads, basically. And because of the position that I'm in right now, actually laying down like fucking going to bed, and what perfect game to put you to sleep better than chess itself. You can't obviously tell because of my whatever, my no face cam and stuff, of course, but like the mic is blocking my view of the board, actually. Not that that would be much of an excuse for me, but now this is interesting because you could take, he takes, I take, and then that should be a guaranteed take because, right, as far as I can tell. Now if you, well, you could just take that instead though, I guess. But no, now you have a pin take. So I got all the way down to like 1400 in rapid here because, oh no, I didn't do that right. But still, it's not like terrible. I got all the way down to like 1400 from 1500 in a rapid. In classical, I got from 17 down to like 1630 or something, and then I salvaged it and obviously got back to I got back to like 1669. How fitting, and we'll stay there for a bit. But that just shows you sort of the peaks and valleys of it too, like the fact that you're able to I got to 17. That was like my goal. That was my unlock condition to reopen my chess.com account at that point. But then it turned into, why is he doing that? But then it turned into where as soon as I played a game, it ended up being, actually, this one doesn't even matter because if you do the typical bishop h3, it's not even going to do anything. Because, okay, but you can take this. Because now the threat on the rook that would normally be there as a result of having to move that pawn is no longer there at all. So yeah, I should almost check to see what of my requests and bug feedback they might have changed, or obviously a lot of people would have had the same feeling. For some reason my stream keeps freezing on my phone as I'm watching it, but I assume it's not like that. And I assume the chat would work too. Yeah, this sort of takes you back to the good old days, or at least for me, it feels like, okay, I knew he could have done that. This is exactly what it would be about, and it would be about high-level play too, in everything. Like, it's hard to explain, but it would seem like a laid-back, normalized thing, right? That you're sort of just doing it, and you could do it forever, and like I could do this all night. And of course chess wasn't the main priority, but somehow, some way that would be conducive to, like, I'm gonna get shit done, and it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of how many, fuck me, how many attempts I do or whatever on like a hard mode, permadeath, world first, whatever the fuck it might be, right? There was a certain power to that. Like, I don't know how to explain it. The power is the fact that it's like, okay, I just gave that, but he didn't even take it. Oh shit, that's interesting. You could do this, and then you'd basically trade it off, but then he'd still have the, so I'm just giving up a pawn. He would still have the ability to do that. It's not like you can't stop it, or actually maybe you can't. If you go here, he would just take... Oh, shouldn't this be like some kind of cheeky back rank? It actually would be if he didn't have the queen specifically there, because you would check, take, like, check, take, and then he can't move because of the bishop spot. Yeah, this is still a little bit dangerous because it's not enough to say the pawn isn't covered, because you may have to let him take that and then do it, because let him take it and then I can raise here, and then you shouldn't be able to mate necessarily off the back of that. But yeah, I guess I never like did anything with like, oh, I'm trying to do ASMR or something, but it was sort of something that came about organically, and I almost made fun of it, like, you know, I don't know, just like I never thought about it like that, but then it ended up overlapping with like, oh yeah, that's basically what it seems like, because you're not talking much, or kind of, you have that natural whispery quality to it. It was interesting to see that just sort of come about naturally. Of course, I don't know, I've sort of grown into projecting it a lot more though now. I don't know why. It just feels like maybe that's more what people expect or something. I don't know. Or after, I can't really explain actually why that happened either. I'm not actually in that bad of a spot, even though it seemed like he was maybe a lot better off than he actually was. That's bad because no, but I can still do like this, I guess. You check here, you should be able to take there. And you check there. Okay, that's exactly what I was just worried about, actually. I always calculate, but I'm always incomplete. I can't do it the whole way because I'm too lazy, or I'm too slow, I guess, with that. Which there's really no shame in chess in being slow. You should almost encourage it, right? If somebody's learning and it's like, you know, you want to calculate, your studies are nothing, your will is everything, the will to calculate, my little Raz Al Ghul play line. It's like, I don't know, you just have to be willing to do that, otherwise you won't get anywhere with it, because all this kind of blitz and stuff, you would think I would like faster paced stuff more, because it's a case where you kind of rely on innate talent sometimes a little bit, but the sad part is it ends up still you rely on whatever you know, maybe all the more. It's kind of weird, like you can't really think about what you're doing, so it's just kind of a crapshoot, or in a sense, it's kind of like uh you know, it takes on sort of a different meta. Obviously, you're not going to do the same things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's better. Well, what am I even doing? Yeah, that's just mate right there. I mean, if you just like literally, you just go H1, dude. Even I can see that. Like, how do I lose to somebody? I mean, that wasn't a loss. See, that was an objective draw. You just don't have to give up the bishop there, and you'd be fine. Yeah, the last time I used this was when I did that little Wi-Fi stream for a hardcore classic, like where I'm doing my role play in Orgrimmar. Like, I just go to learn my spells and stuff, and I'm having heat strokes in RP, but really because I was streaming on Wi-Fi and disconnecting, which I'm not doing that now at least, but uh, it was definitely a fitting episode for it. That series was, if nothing else, a crowning achievement of RP, because that's like my only or like my best RP series since coming back. Maybe I did like a little bit in Dark Souls. It always takes on a good form in a hard mode, because it's like you're really struggling so hard and beating your head against the wall that you almost have to come up with a poetic way to describe it, or you know, like some elaborate way to really show the pain and suffering you're enduring. So it's like a soul of fire never dims, for its kindle as well, against the smelter demon. Even a play on the fact that he has like fire coming out of his chest and stuff, or, and of course, you know how the series is so big on bonfires and their significance. So that's a very fitting line. And what other ones did I do? Like I can't remember. There were a couple good ones in that series. But yeah, see, you don't go into that thinking you're gonna RP, but then it ends up turning into that because of how long you're there and stuck against the same boss or something like that. Yeah, let's do a couple 10-minute games. The problem is, like, I wouldn't even mind doing these style streams more, but just because of time and how late I've been doing it and how tired I've been and stuff like that. Like, the last 2 days have been kind of shitty because they've been so short. The problem is I can't really do this with console because it would be kind of awkward. I don't know. When, like, so many of my series now are on console. Like, Thursday is definitely console because it's Destiny. Then Sunday is also because of Ark, although I guess that wouldn't have to be, but just I'm kind of immersed in that. Or maybe that should be the next phase of my Ark series, is I get to play on PC, which would clearly vastly improve my performance. And then finally you have a case where Wednesday even I sometimes do that because I'm doing like little mini Xbox Game Pass gauntlet where I sort of, it's whatever Wednesday, but I have so many free games on there I may as well use some of those, especially if there's some that are about to leave the Game Pass in a little bit, so then I won't feel like I'm overlapping with my Sunday format, which is like a more slow, methodical way of going through one by one or doing some sort of hard mode or permadeath. Yeah, I wish it was slower, methodical, but I just die so quickly in some of those series. The only reason why it feels so long is because of Anthem. That went on for almost a year, but I kind of did a bit of a hybrid format that wasn't entirely authentic with it too, so at least I finally got Destiny to work. See, if I was a little better and more comfortable, I would feel like I could actually play a game while doing this. Like, this is almost like a just chatting sort of thing, but I don't know. I am obviously not that good. I can be really good at times, but I feel like that's the problem, right? Like, a player like me can play at a good level, but I have to focus so hard and try so hard that it gets kind of exhausting and I can't maintain it. Whereas people who are better would just say, oh, haha, well, it's so easy because they're comfortable because their innate knowledge guarantees something, right? Like, whatever you studied guarantees that you're X rating. So my innate knowledge would guarantee that I'm like 1200. And so if I try really hard, I can play at a 1500 plus level, whatever. But the problem is that, you know, you're never going to be able to outdo that because you're limited by, I don't know, how limited your knowledge is, how limited your studying is. Yeah, this is maybe a more comfortable way to do it, at least schedule-wise. So maybe I can do this for some of the days. It's not like I couldn't use my regular computer, but I can't use my regular mic because that's like set up in such a way that I'm too lazy to fucking redo it and move it and all that shit. So I'm not going to do that. So hopefully this doesn't sound too bad. I don't think it does, actually, but I have to get used to maybe more the way that you're supposed to talk here. Right? It's just a different style that you're supposed to, like, I don't know, be a little more whispery or something. I love looking at chess in like a smaller screen, like on your phone, because you could never tell whether it froze or not. That would always drive me crazy because you can barely see it, and I'm not really looking at it. I'm just kind of glancing to see if somebody's saying something in chat. But then I'll look a half hour later and realize, wow, the stream's been frozen for half an hour. How did I not notice? Oh, because I'm playing a fucking board game like chess. And so the screen always looks the same generally, right? So you'd have to look very carefully and see, like, oh, did a piece move or did something, you know, happen or get highlighted? Like, you're not really looking for that. So I hate the fact that you can't turn off the stuff on there, which I don't think you can, which is utterly ridiculous. The little notation inside, at least the one outside seems okay, but even that's kind of like cheating. You shouldn't be able to do that. You should know that by heart normally, but that, and then the fact that you have to, like, you can't even see the ratings and stuff on the chest, that's kind of weird. Kind of a confusing spot to be in. I have no idea actually what to do here. But yeah, I basically failed my chess.com challenge so many times. Yeah, ASMR eating stream too, which is something I would hate to do and never do on stream, is eat. But I guess in this context, you wouldn't even be able to tell. I mean, obviously with no face cam, if you just don't make a point to chew loudly or something. All these things I do sort of ironically, but then at some point they stop being ironic, and I just actually show that I'm okay. Here we go, dude. I show that I'm actually just a clown, and I sort of like I end up doing them for real. Like, oh, I played chess ironically. Now I play it for real, and look how bad I am still. Not even that saying ironically is an excuse, but it's like people always hold chess in such high regard, but maybe it doesn't even deserve it because, yeah, no Fog of War, just play the Fog of War variant, or no countless other criteria that would objectively make it more complicated, so it's therefore not as unbelievable as people make it out to be. That's what I kind of resent about it. It is a good game. There are some good things about it, but people treat it as like, oh my goodness, it's like this one of a kind. There's nothing like it. Best game ever. So complicated, unsolvable. It's like, dude, there's so many things that are unsolvable. Anything that happens in real time could arguably be that. So it's like people simply take it too far. That seems like a very weird dead zone kind of. Wait, what? Oh, he would have took the rook. I didn't even see what he was doing with that. I genuinely just didn't think I could take it. Would that even be worth it though? Because he'd give up the knight, and then he'd also give up the bishop, so that would have been bad for him. Right? Like, he takes the rook. Oh no, now it doesn't work because, fuck. Because I would have took the knight first that time. That's the one telltale sign of somebody who's like half-hearted, is like, I'm telling you what's happening as it's happening, but I'm still letting it happen. Like, that's the most amazing thing about me and how I play chess. Like, there's no good way to explain that aside from lack of effort, or I guess maybe somehow being constrained on time, but it's not actually that bad. Like, the time, whatever, isn't that limited. So yeah, I hate the fact that you can't see, that you can't actually see anything with respect to the website, or even if they have their own internal analysis, that would work too. It doesn't have to be borrowing from the site, but it has to at least match. Like, I shouldn't have to use the site to see what rating this guy is, or what the rating accuracy of the game was, or anything like that. That's the whole point, is you just want to be in the, be in this the whole time. You shouldn't really have to do anything with it. But yeah, I wonder how common of a niche that actually is, like streaming while in bed. In most cases, you wouldn't notice, or everybody does face cam. It's like fucking doing, how you almost would be allowed to do that too. Like, you can stream yourself sleeping and like do a 24-hour stream. So at night you'd be in bed, and yet you still keep streaming. Like, that used to be a stigma or something that wouldn't be allowed. Like, oh, this person fell asleep on stream, so they got banned because you're not supposed to leave it unattended without an AFK thing on or something. But now it's like that would be completely a normal form of content that people do, like literally stream all day, every day of your whole life. Like, there's that one chick who does that. It's like, why the fuck would you want to see at least certain parts of their life in terms of like, oh, they went to the bathroom, so of course they're not going to show that. But it's like, why? I don't get it at some point. Like, what is it really about? Sure, it might be cult of personality. Sure, it might be whatever, like a reality TV show, but it's like taking it too far. At least it should be based in something. Even when people watch reality shows, it's often like, okay, this person's a celebrity who's done something that I like, and so maybe I'll like every little thing they do. And even that's kind of a dumb way to look at it. Like, it's not a good standard to follow, because sure, they might be good at one thing, but that doesn't mean they're good at everything else, or who cares about their personal details. That's always a philosophy that I sort of try to bring up, is just all those things are idiosyncrasies. So like, people say this even like, let's say with chess players, Magnus Carlsen likes to do such and such hobby or ritual or superstition. And it's like, people would try to copy that because they think, oh, that'll make me as good as Magnus, or that has something to do with his greatness. But that might just be some, quirk that he has. Maybe that's even a negative trait, but it just so happens that it doesn't mean it has to be tied to his success. And on the flip side, somebody who's really bad at something might have a tendency like that that's actually really good. Wait, what? We did see that one crazy bug the last time where a knight turned into a pawn. An actual improvement, though. It benefited me. But no, it's just the fact that it did it in the game itself, and it didn't let me move it like a knight. Even though if you looked into the chess analysis afterwards, you would have seen that... Okay, there could be something dangerous coming here, so I better just watch myself. It did show that it was still a knight, of course. It didn't, like, affect it on the site that way. But it obviously... it obviously fucked up in the game itself. So that was one of the weirdest things. I still won the game because I was already up by a substantial amount. But imagine if that cost you something. Especially, like, one of my permanent sort of formats. It also... I'm not even trying to bash the game, but I've already delivered my critique of it, I guess, in like, my first look. But... it doesn't give you super good feedback on the piece material advantage because it's, they're not showing you in both sides. They're just showing you one. I mean, you don't really have to do anything here is the whole beauty of it. You could do this, but then you're not going to cover that. Trying to figure out exactly what he's trying to do here. Let's see. You can't do this. You can't do anything with that. Or, you could do this because he would be compelled to... if he takes the pawn, I take the rook. If he moves the rook, I still take the pawn. So that's kind of a little sneaky move, but it doesn't mean... or no, he can't even take the pawn. Well... he could take it with the pawn, but... gonna watch the rook. And so he's gonna let me take it. And even in, you want to trade the queen. Which I'd be normally more inclined to do, but... go ahead, take this. So he's basically just given up. We still have plenty of time left. Yeah, that's a good way to characterize that previous style of commentary that I had. Let's say, like, it's a way, it matches the whole desire not to do face cam. I'm sort of psychologically now analyzing myself and some of my tendencies that maybe even in that sense I didn't think about, but at least, I'm the type of person who everything I do is sort of deliberate, or at least I put some amount of thought into it. And so the whole point is just that you're able to, okay, you don't do face cam because you don't want it to be about yourself as much as possible. So it's either about your commentary or what's actually on the screen, like the gameplay and all that, right? That's on one hand. On the second hand, it's a case where you basically have to, let's see. It's a case where you're able to, you don't talk much because you also want gameplay and format and things like that to speak for themselves. And then beyond that, you also are sort of quiet and nondescript. It's like you don't need to place emphasis on what you're saying because it speaks for, like, if it has value, you don't need to add value to it. You can just kind of, it'll speak for itself. So the people who are yelling and screaming and doing all this crazy stuff, you don't need to do any of that because it's inherently valuable. So, it's actually a little bit tricky because he could take the bishop, but he didn't. As wise man once said about some random encounter on the street that he should or should not have been involved with. Or my friend had a good joke about Andrea and Alex. Like, I should have left you in that fast food place where you were working, but you didn't. Like, whatever. That's like Alex saying to Andrea, because I think that's actually true that she did work in something like that. Some sort of fast food place, like before, obviously, the whole streaming situation. But the point is that, whatever, you could tell early on. That's one thing I really praise about Alex, is that it's sort of like bringing somebody into your sphere that would be very uncomfortable to do. Like, you could almost sense the discomfort too, right? Like, you could just tell that it was like, is she really mature enough? These are all things that Alex was probably thinking, that like, oh, I'm doing this big successful thing, and in the long run, obviously, it ended up helping, and it's like that whole dynamic between them, I'm sure, is a big part of their content. But it's like, there's a sense that immaturity or something uncomfortable with that was going to be a problem, and maybe it's like, I don't know, that would be very difficult for a lot of people to do. So to make a point of doing that is a very unconditional positive thing, right, in one direction. Like, she didn't have to do that. She was already successful. She could have just said, whatever. There was no reason to do it besides just trying to do something nice for your family and ingratiate that in a positive way. So those are the two moments of discomfort for chess streamers that I psychoanalyze that are kind of funny, right? Alex bringing Andrea into her streaming sphere, which again, she at the beginning, if you look maybe some old clips or whatever, you would see it wasn't just like for play. She was genuinely maybe uncomfortable or worried. Like, is she going to fuck up my career? Why am I doing this? Why am I letting her on my stream? That she's, trying too hard. She's whatever, like, boisterous and obnoxious or whatever, right? A brand risk, things like that. And then later on, that becomes probably just jokes because they become more comfortable with it and you fit into a niche, right? But at the beginning, when it wasn't as sure of a thing and they weren't as big, there was some insecurity there. And then Hikaru, I think I was right on the nose about this one, and it's actually quite funny looking back. I said, like, he's one of the best chess players in the world, maybe one of the best chess players in history, things like that. And you can see him like cringing and dying a little bit inside when he's like reading Twitch chat, spamming emotes, and he's like dealing with XQC, coaching XQC, who's like a worse player than even me, and like reacting to memes on Reddit and like all this kind of stuff. And like, this is one of the best chess players in the world, and this is what he's subjected to. This is what he has to do to make a decent living in this day and age. Like, just seeing that at the beginning, he's still kind of a little bit like that, obviously. Maybe a little stick in the mud, but that's all good. It's just more like, you could see at the beginning, like, this is what I signed up for. This is what I have to do at this stage in my life. After getting a 2,800 fucking rating, I have to react to some dumb shit meme on Reddit, or read emotes in chat and all this kind of stuff. Lol W, Kek W, like this is what it's about. After spending decades of my life studying chess and committing to it, and obviously getting incredible results. This is what's so dumb about this game, though, is that I don't even know what rating I am. Like, so in a way, that's kind of a good thing. Like, it takes that part out of it. So, but that's not, you could always just not look or just turn that off manually. So it's not a good thing. Like, oh, it's a feature that they want you to do. But in a way, that can sometimes psych you out. Like, I might just have beaten a 2,000 rated player. Not that the matchmaking is that bad, especially in 10 minutes. But but you wouldn't overthink it because you don't even know it is one. But then sometimes that helps you too, like you'll play better or focus more, try harder because you know they are higher rated too. So alright, so I was white in the first two games. It kind of bugs out a little bit at the beginning there where it says like you each have 5 minutes. I wish this would play in the background. Maybe there is a way to do that. Play music in background. There really aren't enough settings in this game, period. That's one of his biggest problems. Like, if you're gonna do this, like the chess integration is amazing. I'm surprised more games haven't taken advantage of that. In fact, I've never heard of one that actually does that. Or I'd love to see one that tries to do it with chess.com, but they probably wouldn't allow that because that's not like an open source free website. But this is the coolest idea ever, and it's always something I wanted. Like, give us a game. I guess maybe I didn't say it exactly like that, but that, oh, you should integrate it with a particular website. But I just wanted a 3D chess game that could be played, you know, with an active player base, which, again, there is not one in existence besides this. And even this one subverts that because the game itself doesn't have an active player base. It just draws from a website that actually does. But again, for all intents and purposes, it still counts. Like, I can guarantee you that people I'm playing are not playing in this game because this game isn't that popular, and you know, it only had like 7 Steam reviews, one of which was mine, so it hasn't gotten like a ton of exposure yet. But you're still playing against somebody who's playing on the site, so it doesn't matter. So it is quite a compelling idea for sure. You're double taking that. You can do the 6 for 6 guaranteed if you want to trade for the pawn and the thing. The pawn and the rook, obviously. I always play so fast at the beginning and then I end up regretting it because you'll just miss something like minor here. Yeah, this is a very comfortable way to do it that almost makes me want to stream for like longer periods of time doing this, but the problem is maybe I could only do it with certain categories, or maybe, yeah, says the guy who's doing a fucking year-long PvZ hard mode. That only requires one button, but I don't think I could do it in such a laid-back sense as this, and I did finally beat one of those mini-games. But the point is that, I don't know. I've just had a lot of time scheduling sort of issues lately, so. If I was to do that, I guess all I would need is my... No, but I wouldn't want to do it on this mic. Or maybe people wouldn't mind, but it does seem like a little shittier. Or I'm not used to using it. Oh, shit. This could be a triple. So, but you have to address the mate threat. So you could take, I could take, you could take. It wouldn't be mate, but it would still be pretty damaging nonetheless. It's almost like you wouldn't want to take, but then... If you didn't take... then you would you wouldn't necessarily be able to do anything right away. Like you could just, you can't really mate me. I can't really take this, but the knight's gonna have to do something of great impact here. What other random tangent can I go on? A lot of, I noticed this with certain videos, right? It never bothers me when people dislike stuff because it's just kind of arbitrary. Just like it doesn't validate me or mean too much to me when people like stuff, although, you know, you like to see something do well. But there's certain communities of games that are like very insular and borrowed knowledge based and like hindsight bias. Yeah, speaking of chess of all things, but no. It's like Path of Exile. I post a video of just me playing it for the first time, and it's like, I'm not trying to prove anything, I'm just playing the game. And I have that old shtick about like, oh, being a Diablo hater, which is why it's my channel icon, him doing the little shush thing. But it got like 14 likes to 10 dislikes, and it's like, I don't think it deserves the 14 likes because it's just a random video, but I also don't get why it got the 14 or the 10 dislikes. Like, what did I do? All I'm doing is just playing the game. Again, it's not like I'm trying to do some sort of challenge and failing or whatever. Like, I don't really even understand sometimes. Or like a Magic the Gathering is like that too. I'm just playing the tutorial, and I guess I'm bitching about it a little bit because it's so fucking long, which is completely justified. But that one got a lot of dislikes, like seven likes to 7 dislikes. Or, but see, I even say it the other way too. I don't see why it's getting so many likes either, because it's sort of like a bait content. This is what people do, like with movie reviews. I watched this movie for the first time, or like movie reaction. Then that's a bait because it's like everybody who likes the movie will want to live vicariously through them, and therefore, that'll guarantee some stuff. So that's almost what I've been uploading on my main channel lately. Is just a lot of me playing a game for the first time, which is kind of a bad standard because it's not. That's the sort of thing I would normally try to avoid doing because it feels kind of like just a bait form of content. Not that you're really baiting anybody, but just you're doing it in a more. Oh shit. What the fuck? You're doing it in more of like an insular sense, like you're only doing it for some sort of as like a one-off thing. Not that that is one of my actual legitimate formats where I just sort of. What the fuck? Or that sack of the bishop was totally superfluous because otherwise I would have at least gotten that out of it. It is one of my formats to play stuff like I haven't played before, so it's only fitting I would show like me playing it for the first time. But what's interesting is that that's far more likely to get views because you're doing it like you're uploading something different every time, and you're all wait, isn't it supposed to say checkmate on that screen though before it goes there? Whatever. You're playing something different every time, so that's a variety, right? So emphasize uploading that over like main series where you keep uploading over and over different parts of the same game. Right. Now that has its advantages too, because that could be like you're building a community with that game, but there is a certain incentive to do that. Like, okay, you're playing something different every time, you're playing something for the first time every time, and so there's going to be a lot of people coming in, and this is either something I trigger or that I just notice about people is one of the biggest forms of content possible is like doing something that you haven't done before or you don't know how to do or you're not good at, and people coming in or like commenting on your channel videos, whatever, and just telling you what to do. Like, this is actually how you do this thing. It's like, on one hand, okay, that's nice, they're just trying to help. On another hand, they're just trying to be like, oh, hindsight bias, whatever, haha, I know this thing that you don't know. And the third thing is kind of what I look at, like, if you wanted to know that thing, right, like, oh, how do I do this thing, you would just look it up and you could find the answer on Google. So there's this principle that like it kind of is an unspoken rule that like they're telling you what to do, but it's not that you couldn't find out, is that you were trying to find out yourself or trying to play the game blind or something. There's always a sense of honor in that. And so they'll tell you like bold face as if, oh yeah, wow, if I wanted to know, I could have just looked it up. So what's the fun in that? But no, just that borrowed knowledge idea. So the best way to get views in that sense is just to pretend to be bad at something, and you'll have swarms of people coming in trying to either make fun of you, aha, ha, you're so bad, which that part at least is amusing, or I would say the other form that's legitimate is or that people do is they like to know stuff that you don't know, and that makes them feel smart or something, even if it means that they've looked it up or they've played the game longer, already beaten it or whatever. And again, why is that even a contest? Like, somebody's doing something for the first time, says the guy who has the first playthrough permit of the format, but that's the philosophy behind that is something totally different. It's just more like, you know what I mean? Like they're trying to prove something in a context that doesn't prove it. Like, my standard is always high with that. Like, if you're gonna prove something, then it has to be more substantial. Like, it would have to be, okay, you're doing a world first clear of something, or you're doing something very notable, and and like a challenge that nobody's ever done before. So if you want to use a standard like that, then I'm okay with it. That's a high standard at least. But people want to prove something in a first game, like there's a hilarious weird flex moment. I should actually find the comment here. I'll read it, or maybe should I show it? I'm not even yeah. Here, I'll show it. This one's pretty funny. From I think my arc thing. People are getting so mad. Yeah, just wait till you see the whole series of Arc, where I do basically the same thing fucking for like 3 months, which I'm still doing now. Where like I can't get past that 8th Engram row or whatever. So many qualifiers I could use, but I won't even do that because I let it speak for itself. But if you look at, I won't even say what it is because I like it. Keep the standard high. Your standard could never be as high as mine. Right, so anything you, or like that was one of my expressions, right? Like anything you could criticize me for, I've already criticized myself 10 times worse. So what good is it gonna do, right? Whatever standard you have, mine is higher. So what does it matter? So this is good because if you take, then I could just take the queen. You can never offend the one who values meritocracy above all, because either your words will be fruitless, in other words, they're simply not true or not valid and have no meaning, or they're simply redundant because it's something they already know and are already more acutely aware and sensitive to than anybody else could be, because they already hold that standard. That maybe could be the wrong move, because this could be more problematic, but I guess we have time during the course of this game. Yes, again, are you winning? I actually can't even type in the chat, so that's unfortunate. Or I guess I could if I guess I could log in on here to do it, but that would be kind of... What I hate is this background music thing. Let me actually try to do it because... Yeah, see, I don't have my other computer, so I can't even type in chat. When I do it on my phone, it's just to see the chat, but... Right, I'm not actually logged in like that. Fuck, do I really have to do this during the middle of a game, dude? Yeah, they should have the option to play it in the background for streamers like me. I'm probably the only person, or at least I certainly was the first person to stream it. Or, because it was only a day after. You would think nobody would have. Or I guess I thought it would have had a bigger release than it did. And then I go on Steam and I see that it didn't really have too many people playing it or whatever. But you'd never be able to measure that. Like, on Steam charts, is it going to account for everybody's fucking whatever? Like, is it going to account for people playing on the chess? Of course not, because they're not actually playing within the game itself. But all these fucking verifications that you have to do, you have to get like a text on your phone, you have to get like a... Come on, hurry up. I love how it says too with that, like, oh, don't share it with anybody. It's like, it's a one-time authenticator code. Unless they know your password and are logging in at exactly that time, then it wouldn't matter. A little echo thing there. I wouldn't say I'm winning or losing necessarily. Okay, I'll show that comment after this. Although I do so 6 minutes, so it almost doesn't matter. We could take with this, and then if he takes, I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm always a fan of the queen trades here. Even if he takes with the knight, I can take back easily. And so, even then, it doesn't matter. You can't do anything with that. I guess it is important to be able to type in chat, especially when he's like, he's always so good about watching, even if he can't hear. That's the only way actually to communicate with him. I don't even know how you put that icon, like where it has the mute next to it. There's no way that shows up automatically if you just happen to be muted. That'd be kind of cool if it did, but I doubt it. I haven't seen Andre in a while. I guess it's because he's probably, maybe the time that I stream is just not suited for him to watch. But yeah, see, this is like a just chatting category for me almost. Not that I wouldn't want to still learn and whatever, but I basically have resigned myself to the fact that it's going to take an insane, an insane amount of time, and so I just do it off stream. But chess.com is like the fucking holy mecca of chess because it's just way too crazy. Yeah, there's nothing much you can do with that. You could go back, you could go here. He's not really putting a ton of pressure. Once again, it feels like these games can always be drawable if you just want them to be. Where you're just able to, kind of drag it out, win by attrition. You get a check here. I don't know what else we could do with it, though. You're not going to get a fork no matter what you do. I just have to remember to log in. I don't know if I'm going to do it like this that often, but it is cool at least to be able to. Yeah, my other setup is obviously much better. I don't really even have a setup here. I'm just kind of fucking doing it off the cuff, which is nice. That's why laptops are so amazing. Oh, fuck. Because you can just do whatever you want. Very easily sometimes. For fuck's sake. The old knight pawn bait around the king. What I should probably do also is like... I should also... I should also try to... I can't remember. Yeah, well, I get banned because I fall asleep on stream and then I'm asleep the whole time. Like, is that a thing that can happen? Or, like, it's always the principle. Like, people don't have to watch if they don't want to, so you're not doing anything wrong. If you really want to stream yourself 24 hours a day, right, who really cares? But you can't go there. Yeah, it's basically the difference of the one knight here. Or I mean the rook for the knight. There's no way to really equalize this super well. There was a time when I didn't even have my chat open, and then there was a time when obviously I didn't for a long time actually log in. Either I was just too lazy to, or I almost didn't think it would matter because somehow it's like yeah, I could just talk back to people, and answer the message verbally, but there's some value to it sometimes with how you are supposed to there's even the muted thing is pretty rare that somebody would actually watch like that, but just there could be certain reason why you want to type stuff in there. Like moderate my own chat because I don't have any mods, or the ones that I do don't really, or they're not really expected to do anything, like Simply and obviously that delay almost made it seem like it wasn't, mate. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I want to show that arc. A couple of these art comments that triggered people. Let's look here. React to my own YouTube videos. Why not? Create a just chatting extravaganza. This game does game capture, but since you have to almost look at the analysis and stuff on the chess, I almost prefer to display capture it. So there's always some zero-sum preconceived aspect to it, where it's kind of like people are assuming what you're trying to do. What if I don't mind getting, I want to just play it the way I want to play it. You're not really proving anything. Or that's why I say there's the high level expectation. It's like, if you want to try to prove something, then do it at a high level. Like, okay, do something no one has ever done before, or do some world first, or do something like, whatever, some crazy challenge. If you're just playing the game, you're just playing the game. So I don't know. So look at some of these are hilariously fucking triggered. Like, sir, this is a blind playthrough. Sir, this is a first playthrough. Like, they lose their fucking shit over it. I know this is a long time and only an hour in the playthrough, but it seems outside of your constant BS jabbering, you haven't played too many games that don't walk you through life. That is true in the modern era. Many games do walk you through life. I think people mistake like my running commentary too. This is another thing, right? You could be just talking like, "Oh, I don't like this situation that I'm in," but it doesn't mean that it's bad. Like, yeah, see, everybody's doing the same thing because Ascended's coming out. Or wait, does that mean Ascended is out, or is that what it's called now, and I don't even realize it's called? Huh? Because he's saying I played Arc for the first time, but Ascended would be something else. So at least I got to play this. Yeah, you haven't, but yeah, just because you're saying something in the moment that is critical, there's two elements to that, right? You could criticize one aspect of something, like the knight in chess, but that doesn't mean that the whole game of chess is bad. That just means the knight is bad. And second of all, it could just be my preferential. Like, I don't like the knight. That doesn't mean it's objectively bad or whatever. So if you don't know what to do, first thing is to learn. Oh, just learn forehead by trying everything, which of course I do. Okay, maybe I was a little lazy with the console controller, but you wasted 3 or 4 lives. I at least like that he has that standard. Technically, I was only supposed to have 1 life. You complained more than played. Now again, it's not. That's sometimes just what commentary is, right? You're not really complaining. You're just kind of talking through what's happening. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a moron. That's not me really complaining. I played blind myself. I saw one video of some guy running and dying from a dino, and that is what I will try. The whole campfire thing I figured out in 1 minute. Maybe stop playing games and go touch grass, then you will understand simple things like fire needs wood. Yes, of course. You have to hit the prompt in the menu in real life to put the fire in the wood. That's the part that confused me. I've never had to do that in real life. Yeah, this is one of the funniest flexes I've ever seen. I built a campfire faster than you on my first blind playthrough of Ark Survival Evolved. Assuming like that's your highest priority or that's what you're trying to do. So that one's pretty funny. And then what else? You are the most new bot person I've ever seen. Never play Ark again. And not any game. Retire from games and your channel. You knew. Now, putting aside the extensive permadeath experience that I have, or whatever world first hard modes and things like that, like clearly I could bring that up. But even without bringing that up, it's just funny because it's like, again, a person is just fucking playing the game. Like, so you're such an Ark elitist that you won't even let somebody play the game for the first time, and you have to. I don't even know why I'm doing this. I just found these funny. You're the most new bot person I've ever seen, and he had to edit it too. Never play Ark, so you're gatekeeping the game. Like, oh, I'm so bad at the game that you won't allow me to play it. Like, why is that a satisfying thing to do? Just let people play the game and do whatever they want. Who cares? Isn't Ark the most fun you've ever had? Yeah, see, this is the kind of comment I would say. And it is very fun, and I'm even still playing it. Or yeah, that's what's true in... let me look at the magic one, too, actually. That's what's true in, like... Yeah, those are 3. Or like WoW. A lot of my WoW videos got dislikes, because it's like... They're trying to put you in like an insular box, right? Like you have to do everything the meta way, and if you don't, then they don't like it or they're expecting something else. But it's like that could be an RP series. So I'm sitting there, I'm talking to my pet, I'm doing all these kind of RP stuff, but they're not expecting that because, oh, everybody's speedrunning, zerging through, doing min-maxing stuff. So I'm not even saying not to do it that way, but not everybody's going to do everything the exact same way. So yeah, that sort of gatekeeping is funny. And then what was the last one? I wanted to see something with Magic. But yeah, Magic the Gathering, WoW, and I guess maybe not Arc overall. What was the other game I felt like that? Oh yeah, Path of Exile. That was kind of funny how. Although the comments on that were mostly positive. Let's see. Magic the Gathering. But yeah, like people will think, oh, I hate Ark because of this first episode and I'm dying so much. Not only did I not hate it, but I still am playing it every week since then for the last couple of months, right? Like this is 2 months ago. So I made a whole series of it. So clearly I do like it, and nothing I'm saying here is preventing me from doing that. Or like with Magic, right? They'll think, oh, you thought the game is bad, or they're getting all pissed, but I've been playing it for the last year, right? So how did that lifelong card gamer plays Magic? Yeah, and the tutorial does suck shit. I'll say that again, but nice little interlude here as we oh, can you hear me now? Or now you can even see this on stream to me typing. Display capture. Yeah, I guess people mistake my commentary for being whiny. I guess I just talk so much now. You're obnoxiously whiny, literally not reading how things work and they get mad. But see, it's a tutorial, so who reads the tutorial? That's like a demerit. Magic is arguably the most popular. Okay, that's normal. So bad, you, not the game. But see, I thought the game was so bad that I'm still playing it a year later and have been on a weekly basis. That's great. It really is that. Like, if you criticize one thing, people think you're criticizing it in its totality. I guess that wasn't so bad, but yeah, there are some of these fake elitist things like they're trying to show off about. I guess people like that need any sort of flex they can get because it feels kind of like where is even the game capture for this here? Their ego is so fragile that they need to brag about making a campfire faster than somebody in their first playthrough of Ark Survival Evolved. Like, wow, I made it a few minutes faster than you because it's a race and the first playthrough is really a high standard to follow. Or why you read comments, they're never good. They're funny though sometimes. Like I trigger people so much by just simply playing stuff blind or whatever. Um, but yeah, it's like they have to flex about that, right? So you see how fragile their ego is. Like they have to go to somebody's first playthrough and say, haha, you don't know all these things, or you don't know what I know after 1,000 hours of playing when you played for the first time. It's like, if that makes you feel better, fine, but like who really cares? You're just playing the game. You've got a Milo. Do I sound different? Like do you notice anything different, or does it seem like normal? I'm not even opposed to getting that. I just don't know where to get it. Does it sound better or worse? This is like my old ASMR mic kind of thing. Not that I would really make a point to do ASMR, but it's like a Blue Yeti, so it's kind of quieter. And this is what I would use when I would do some of my whispery stuff, like back in the day, which I can't really emulate too well right now. But worse, quieter. But I am the quiet gamer. Yeah, this is literally the same one that I used on my old channel. But I sound so different. I almost want to be able to emulate that sometimes just to see what it's like. You sound like you have a cold. I don't know if that has to do with maybe the mic. Maybe that's just something else. Yeah, this is fine. Chess just seems like the perfect game for that kind of thing too. Like ASMR chess bedtime stream where I just, whatever, whisper through the very technical moves that we're making. So what would I do here? I could attack the queen, You're gonna triple attack that, which could be trouble. Usually bedtime is, yeah, this is kind of a little different. See, I'm doing it from my house now. So I'm like literally in bed, and so I'm more comfortable now. I can go maybe later, or I'm not as tired, whatever. Whereas normally I'm doing it from like a third different location. So that can be a little more stressful. But this only works for maybe some categories where it's more laid back. I'm just kind of trying it to see, like, whatever. It's just more like a relaxed sort of thing. Yeah, I always stream on laptop anyway, but this is my older laptop, not the main one that I normally use. Yeah, it's pretty good though. I mean, it can handle pretty modern games and stuff. Even this one's not bad. No, I never. I mean, I always say PC, just like PC is better than console. Says the guy who only uses laptops. I've never really used a PC for gaming before, or maybe like way long time back. But I've always been a fan of laptops just because they're so convenient and you can move them around and shit. Because I always am moving around so much. Not that you can't move a PC, but it's a fucking pain in the ass. Okay, let's move the knight out of the way. You're also in bed. This is the whole beauty of not doing face cam. You can't even tell where I am or what I'm doing, but this is kind of a comfortable, cozy way of doing it. I like this. And this could be the kind of thing, if I did have more time, that I would do like a 10-hour stream like this where I'm just playing chess and just relaxing and whatever. Just in the background of doing, well, maybe not 10 hours, but whatever. Like I could stay up all night and just do this. You can what? You'd want to almost double take that, but I don't know how. This would force you to double stack the pawn. Tell where you are. Well, I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell though otherwise. I could be literally like running outside, jogging somehow, and streaming at the same time. Do a fucking IRL stream, IRL chess stream in the park. What size bed? It's a small size. I don't even know. Like, it's enough really just for one person because I am one person. Okay, this is a little bit troublesome scenario. Gotta watch the knight a little bit. What do they even call those smaller sizes? Like a... It's not a queen, it's not a king. Could be like a twin. Oh, and you have company over? Yeah, that is true, actually. I guess it's not always like that, or usually I go somewhere else for that. Yeah, I can't move that, and it's pinned and it's double attack, so I'm kind of screwed. Fuck. He could take, I could take, he could, no, he can't actually do it though, because I don't know why I'm panicking so hard about it. It is almost a pain just having a house though, because it's like, you know, if you're never there and all you have to do, it just becomes a responsibility. Like, you have to maintain it, you have to do this, you have to do that, mow the lawn. Like, you have all these things to, you know, pay taxes. It's like, yes, he gives you somewhere to live, but then you're not even there because you're busy all day working all the time. So, like, what is the point? Sure, it saves you money on rent and stuff, but even then, it really doesn't because, uh, you know, your taxes might end up being the same amount as what your rent would have been. You'd be surprised, like, whose fault is that? I'm just questioning more so the point of it, you know? Like, it seems like a good thing. Wow, you have a house, but it's just not as good as it's made out to be. It's like, okay, let's say you're paying 700 rent every month and you own a house. Your taxes could be like 5,000 for the year. So you'd rather pay 7,000 rent. Oh shit. You'd rather pay 7,000 rent than 5,000 taxes. Like, you're not really saving as much as you might think. I also missed a bit where. What are you talking about? Your guess was right. Even if you were to do that, it wouldn't actually do anything. You're only single attacking that. It's kind of like a good problem to have, but I mean, it's a lot of responsibilities for somebody as lazy as me. You really think I want to mow my lawn or shovel my driveway or fucking do anything like that? Take would check the pawn. Huh? Yeah, we get a pretty good amount of snow here usually. Yeah, that one's still fine, so there's not much to worry about here. I don't know what that why he freaked out there. Take would check pawn. I don't really see what I don't know what that means. We're winning pretty good here still. Or not really. Like, we have two pieces for the price of one, but it's only like a +1 metric. You never get snow, but that's kind of a good thing. I mean, it's nice sometimes, but a lot of it is just a pain. We can get a lot sometimes. Last couple years we haven't, but I mean, you can getting like 20 inches in the span of a couple days. Can be insane. And like, the schools here are very reticent to that. Like, they won't have a snow day unless it's like literally a fucking blizzard. Oh, you know, you got 10 inches, no big deal. Just, you gotta still come in because it can happen so often that they get sort of jaded to it and they just don't even care. Uh, Wait, I just thought I just clicked that. Why didn't it work? This is not really nice at all. Oh, don't tell me, dude. Or no, at worst you could double. Fuck. You could double attack it, which would pretty. Okay. As long as you can't just mate me, which you probably can do. Oh, come on. You go F2, then I go down, then you go H3, then I go G1. Maybe it's not. Those blue icons on the spaces that you can't go to make it seem like. What? It makes it seem like you have less room than you do. Or it makes it seem like you can go there. So so it doesn't really distinguish illegal moves very well. So I can't do anything with that. If you come there, I can just take. I'm losing some of these games in such dumb ways. Like, don't these all feel like it's just sort of, you should get a cat? I mean, it's just too much work. Like, I'm just not ready for that right now. If I have free time in the future, maybe, but it's just too much responsibility. I'm sure I already will guess his next response, but it's worth it, and maybe it is, but... How about playing a sport? Yeah, I'll play an esport. I'll become a fucking professional Overwatch player for whatever remnants of esports it even has left. I should have done that with Hearthstone. I was able to participate in one tournament that was of reasonable merit, but yeah, I guess I just didn't care enough to really pursue anything with that. But I love these college scholarships and like whatever, like college leagues for esports. Like you actually get a scholarship over that, of all things. Fuck. Yeah, like could I get a chess scholarship in college or something? Not that I would want to go back, but just for the meme of it, like it seems kind of dumb. Will I play Deliver Us to the Moon? Yeah, I could. I don't know when, but it took me the whole time just to get to the moon because it was so short of an episode. That was just like last Saturday, right? Because this previous Saturday I did whatever Naraka Blade Point or what, something like that. I wanted to do Entropia. Oh, maybe I should do that tomorrow. I almost feel like I have more time on Wednesday now than on Saturday, because Saturday I have to do my second format too, Paladins, which is like Star's favorite game because he always freaks out whenever I'm about to play it. Now he's arguing with himself. This is getting ridiculous. Now there are two of them, haha. Classic. Yeah, this is what I get for making somebody a mod in my chat. They're gonna do this the whole time. Incredible. It can be amusing, of course. As the old saying goes, talking to yourself is basically just another word for thinking, which is why in certain societies it's stigmatized as a sign of its own internal lacking. The idea that, you know, somehow thought is stigmatized when, you know, it's like sort of shooting the messenger. Don't blame somebody for, this is far more philosophical than what's actually happening with that, but basically, you know, don't blame the person for thinking, blame society for acting like that's a bad thing or punishing it or having something to hide or require contrivance for in such a way that would somehow make thinking about it a bad thing. Or yeah, he'll create somebody to ban just for fun, and it'll have to be himself, his burner account. How can a mod say that? Yeah, maybe they shouldn't be able to. Something has to change, so maybe I'll unmod him. Now here, if I double tag that, that'd be good. Of course, he can't move it. If you go here, I could go here. This should just be... Damn it. The problem is, well, no, you can't go back to there. And if you move somewhere else, then I take it. You move a queen in there. Damn it, like, how do you escape from a situation like that? That looks like such a good thing. So now is the knight gonna outfox my bishop? Because it is quite possible that he might. Right, he can touch every square. I can't, so he has a inherent advantage because of that alone. He knows my voice. Even though it sounds maybe totally different today. Yeah, I can't tell if that's actually the mic or if I actually maybe am a little stuffed up. The fact that I sound like I have a cold. Well, now this will be fine because it should just be a draw, but you never know what these clown low-rated players are going to do. And I say that from a position of great experience with that because I'm often that way myself. All you have to do is like not let the king get through there. And just through attrition, somebody might have to make a bad move here. You know, what more would somebody need to know besides somebody's voice in the context of a site like this? Because now he has no choice but to move something in such a way as to sack it. So both of these are bad. This is okay. Right. It's okay. I would take. Now those show up as my two active chatters, but actually it's the same person. How ironic. Is it really a chat if you're talking only to yourself? Can we please ban this guy? Yeah, well, if I really follow what you're saying, then I would ban you too. Or at least unmod you. Just kind of let me get too far in here, and now it's not going to be possible to save one of these. It'll take him a lot longer to probably get to me too. You can't move any closer, so I should be able to go here. So he kind of botched this endgame, even though it seemed like a dead draw for sure. No unmodding. It should be hard for him to... Oh, I can't even move the king though. Oh shit. Oh no. Oh man, speaking of fucking up the endgame, but normally it's not me who does that. I normally benefit from them fucking up. These games have all been so uninstructive because it's just not paying attention or whatever. I'm almost glad Not that, that's kind of coping with my failure. I'm almost glad I failed that challenge because there's no fucking way I'd have time to try to live up to that in terms of chess and try to get to 1500 plus. But I guess it's not about how many games you play or how much time you play. It's just about the quality of them at that point. Hey, doctor, how's it going? Pretty good. Just because he's only 1300 doesn't mean hell. Oh, he'll always make a good move. Let's ban him. I mean, in this one case, I would allow you to ban him, but since it's you, I don't really see the value of it. What app is this? Oh, the chess thing. It's some sort of semi-new game. It just lets you play on against people on chess, but with 3D pieces and stuff. Oh, for fuck's sake! Why am I losing to these clowns? Yeah, just simply called chess! Exclamation mark! What a great creative name. Chess.com is better. I mean, it's better at least in the raw sense of what rating means. There's no question about that. In fact, it almost makes me think that chess.com isn't inflated because it's so competitive. People are so insanely good at such seemingly low levels. Like 1800, yeah, that's pretty good. I'm like more 1500, although I'm probably a bit lower now because I've just been throwing. And I was like 1700 in classical. Whether that really means anything or not, I don't know, because I was top 6,000 on the site by doing that. And so that makes it seem pretty good. Of course, the best players don't play classical because they feel like people are cheating or it'd be too easy to cheat. And so that obviously factors in, but still, even if it's inflated, what happened? This does get kind of weird because you can't even tell whether, what rating I am or anything. I lost 100 rating yesterday on stream. The cheating is for over 2,000. Yeah, but it at least discourages people from playing. So if I say, oh, I'm top 6,000 in classical, then people would say, oh, well, all the best players don't play the format, though. Right, out of fear of that or whatever, like GMs and stuff. But even if you take that away, I shouldn't be top 6,000 in any context in chess ever. Anything under, you'll be fine. It's your 25th birthday. You deserve a cookie for being so spot on. Thanks. Happy birthday. When is it? You can go to Harvard. Who am I? Alex Botez, dude? I'm not an Ivy League little spoiled kid who gets to play chess all day. This Saturday, nice. I wonder what Andrea would have done if not for that. Would she have gone to something like Stanford too? I doubt it. You're on Sunday? Nice. Your friends is on Friday? This is a common time of year. 9 months. Yeah, why is that? Is it because of Valentine's Day or something? February? So 9 months from February is... There is actually some real study on that, like how common that is. I don't know if that's actually why, but... Oh, thanks for the follow. I know another person on the 14th. Your birthday is not on Sunday. Yes, it is. What the... Why is he doing this? Is my stream so boring that he has to entertain himself by having an imaginary conversation? Now, see, this is a night purgatory, nightmare, I guess you could say. Just the fact that it's basically trapped, and even if it wasn't, it's gonna have to move around back and forth so much. Wait, that's actually the perfect way to let me come back in. But the problem is if you move this, fuck. How does he know? This is good, right? You attack the queen, escape with the knight away. Is that a Castlevania reference? As you're following? Yeah, that's my old one for way back in the day, so it's not exactly a very... It's a pretty cliche one that I'm sure has been used a lot, but I never wanted to change it when I came back. Maybe like nostalgia or something. Fuck me. And then the sound is like Luigi's Mansion thing, the key or whatever. Okay, let's go here. Doesn't really do anything though. I'm almost too lazy to even analyze these games. Not that I truly analyze them ever, but I kind of just do it just so it's in the database. Maybe I won't even bother, or I'll do it off stream. Did you go to Harvard? Your girlfriend went to Harvard? Really? That's impressive. Can't do anything with that. Let's try to get this here. You'll bring the rook behind and unleash something. What the fuck did I do? Okay, maybe I'm too tired to actually do this. But yeah, this was sort of a different style using sort of my old setup. At least this shows that in a day like this, I could do it like this if I have to. Just to sort of save me the trouble of using my other setup. It is almost tempting. If I just bring my console home, I could do this. But the mic doesn't seem to... I don't know. It's not terrible, but it's not really what I want to use either. And there's no way I'm going to bring the mic because it's way too complicated how it's set up. It doesn't. It says Dravra. Oh, shit. Wait, let me actually see what my rating is, though, at least. I won't even analyze. But yeah, look. Oh, fuck. I didn't mean to do that. Shit. Uh, it doesn't even show you in the game itself. That's what I don't like. Right, authorized. But what if I just want to see... Oh, wait. It's because I left in the middle of the game, but I was trying to resign. It didn't let me? Or how do you... Oh, here. Yeah, the UI in this game is not the greatest. Like, you have one job just to make the game a chess, but how can you fuck it up so many different ways? Or, like, how is it so hard to get a definitive version of a game like this that actually has a decent player base? It's basically impossible to do, apparently. I'm 1669, I'm 13. Oh, look at me. I got the curse of 69 all on fleek. Jesus Christ, dude. That means I've lost like 150 rating over the last 2 sessions I played this. Clearly, it must be something with the game itself, the 3D boards, that are fucking me out. Because normally I would never go on such a bad streak. 1 win, 6 losses. It just takes some getting used to, I guess, a little bit, but... It's great meeting you. It's midnight on the East Coast now. Off to bed. Have a good night. Yeah, okay, see you later. In the future, if our schedules again, I'll send a... Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Okay, I should go too. I'm pretty tired. See you tomorrow.